Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the January 13th edition of Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist. That's my good buddy Dave Gorby, my faithful co-host, coming to you live again tonight from Pinheads of the Gorge here on Jones Avenue in Oak Hill. We appreciate you joining us tonight. We got snowed out last week. We had a show scheduled, but Pinheads had to shut down because of the snow, and we were...
They weren't the only ones shutting down.
No, a lot of people shut down, so we were a little hesitant to try to get out. It wasn't really last minute trying to find a place to do the show, and we can do it from anywhere, but you still got to have a little bit of time to get set up no matter where you're at. So they had to shut down and close the doors because of the snowstorm last week, and we fell victim to that. So we apologize for that, but we're back with another big show tonight, like always. We had a couple weeks ago, had a really good show with Daryl Prue as our guest. That was a lot of fun talking. We like to talk to these old mountaineer guys, and got a few of them lined up for future shows already. So we won't announce those yet, but we'll bring those out later on. So we appreciate everybody tuning in and watching those guys. We know a lot of people like to hear from the old heads that used to play ball at WVU. They like that. And then the more recent guys that are the Deshaun Butlers and those type of people, they like to talk to those guys too. They like to hear them too. So we get those guys on as well. But we got a little local flavor tonight coming on the show. Person that most people in Oak Hill and Mount Hope are familiar with, and Midland Trail area. Jack Flournoy is going to join us tonight.
Okay.
Jack, of course, played at Oak Hill, won a state championship there, went on Northern Kentucky and played, and thought it would be interesting to get him on. Actually, my wife come up with the idea. She thought it would be interesting, and I agree with her. I think it's a good idea, too. Jack, pretty well known around these parts, I'd say.
Yeah.
Come from that basketball family.
He was Bluestone. That was the street he lived on.
Yeah.
But he played at Oak Hill.
Right. Yeah, he lived in Mount Hope. He played at Oak Hill. His dad coached at Midland Trail.
Yeah.
So, I begged Gina to bring him to Trail.
We're not counting that. We're not counting the 1 year. Or what? How many years did he coach at Princeton?
John was at Princeton for a couple years, I think.
Maybe three?
Maybe
2 or 3?
2 or 3, yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, Jack went to that one high school. Woodbury, yeah. Went there for a while. So, but anyway, we thought it'd be interesting to catch up with Jack.
That's a good one.
Yeah, see what he's up to, and talk a little bit about his time at Oak Hill and his time at Northern Kentucky, what all that was like, what he's up to today. We think that'll be fun. Yep. So, but anyway, we try to focus our show on some of our local high school kids. We pick our athletes of the week. Last week wasn't the athletes week. We didn't have many games. We only had 1 or 2 games around the area. So not much going on. So we'll probably bow out on that again this week. I think Malachi Lewis, was our last one, wasn't it, 2 weeks ago. Had a real good outing over at Pikeview and playing some pretty good ball. You guys lost a tough one this week already to Bluefield. And, Bluefield, of course, a sectional opponent, important games, but we got hit by the COVID bug. And Princeton came over last week, knocked us off in a close game, and then we found out on Saturday that 5 of Princeton's players tested positive for COVID, and then not too many days after that, we found out that 5 of our players tested positive for COVID. Problem was ours were there's 2 or 3 starters on our list, and or people that played a lot, so that really put us under the gun 2 nights ago against Bluefield. I thought. I don't know what.
Yeah, absolutely. We think we had, I came 8 or 9 dress, maybe. I can't really remember. But yeah, like you said, we had a couple guys that didn't play against Bluefield, and you're right. But I think we still had our chances to
had plenty of chances
to take that game.
Yeah, we had numerous chances. We cut the lead to 6 there one time. Had the ball 3 or 4 straight times and could not score.
And I hate to sound like the guy up north because he's always saying it. Got to hit shots.
Yeah, you got to make shots.
Hit shots. And, but we got a couple of them back today. So we'll see how we got 2 games over these next 2 days. So we'll see how those games go, and tomorrow get right back into it. Yeah. Tomorrow night's a huge game with Woodrow coming to town.
Woodrow coming to town. We'll let everybody know that we will be there covering that game. The New River Network will have the coverage of that one. That's a big game as well. Another sectional opponent, and just a rivalry game where you really need that. Game. And you talk about people missing. Your problem. And it's not that not that anybody's a great player and is going to make all the world of difference, but when you lose, like we lost Sammy and Omar and then Cade, those three guys play a lot of minutes, and when you lose that, it throws rotations out of whack. It throws your substitution patterns out of whack. So, it not only has the impact of, what they can physically do as far as scoring and that sort of thing, but just the whole impact on the chemistry of things is where it really makes a difference, I think.
Yeah. And you think about, our rotations was probably less the other day, so guys got a lot more minutes that they're wasn't
accustomed to. Yeah.
And they was probably more wore out. But there you go. You got probably tired, got hitting shots and
has an impact.
What it is, but I was talking to you, Coach, and I know you know it's been the problem the whole year long. First quarter, we gotta get a quicker start, and I don't know how that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do on that yet.
We've struggled with that pretty much the whole season. That first quarter has just been killer.
And we've been, we go in that coach's office and we jot down ideas just to try to figure out something.
Yeah.
And just haven't hit that yet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's like the other night against Princeton. Well, we have 17 at halftime.
Yeah.
First quarter was abysmal. I mean, it was terrible. And then we come out the second half and started making shots. Got right back in the game. Went into overtime. Probably should have won the game.
Yeah.
We had about a 6-point lead there. The minute and a half, 2 minutes to go, and it was more like 3 minutes, and we squandered that lead in a hurry.
Yeah.
We didn't score but 7 points. It hit us in the fourth quarter. The last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. And the 4-minute overtime, the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, 4-minute overtime, 7 minutes, I think we scored 7 points. And you just can't do that against these teams that we're playing. And I'm like you. I don't know what the answer is because we come out slow every game, it seems like. The first quarter just kills us.
Yeah.
And then you expend a lot of energy coming back, getting back in the game, and then you run out of gas toward the end, I think is what's happening, and it kind of happened the other night with Bluefield. I mean, we were down. Finally started making some shots, crawled back in the game. Like I said, we were down 6 and had about 4 straight possessions where we come up empty. And like you said, a lot of guys playing minutes that they're not used to playing. Trevor Kelly is back, and he's been out hurt. So he's really not in a good, physical condition, not in a good flow.
I think one kid was Moses. I think Moses played almost 3 quarters that night. And Moses usually just plays maybe a quarter of that.
Sporadically, that's hard on those guys. And that, like I said, physically, where like Trevor's been out, he was tired because he was playing a lot of minutes and got some foul trouble because of it. Yeah. Missed some shots, I think, because of it. I think he just was not used to being out there, And then, like you say, too, the rotations, these guys are used to coming in, playing hard for 2 or 3 minutes, coming out, going back in, and then they're stuck out there, like you said, with Moses. He's out there for 3 quarters.
I seriously think it was like 3 quarters.
Yeah, and that just that wears them out. It wears them out. Well, we got some chance at redemption this coming week. Like I said, you got Woodrow Friday.
Woodrow Friday got a big game on Saturday afternoon. Should have a good crowd there. It's the Hall of Fame. Game.
Yes.
We're inducting 9 former athletes.
9 former athletes.
For
awesome.
OQ. Yep. Should be a good day on Saturday.
Might be an opportunity to nab a few guests for the show.
There you go.
I don't know if we're planning on doing that game Saturday or not. I'll have to see what Darren thinks. He's a little iffy on it. We're out every night of the week. It seems like doing games, and he's running himself ragged, and we both work. And it ain't easy to do all this stuff, and so we do what we can. So tonight, in fact, not only are we doing the show live, but he also has a setup over in the gymnasium in Oak Hill. It's a high school. Showing video of the girls' game, and you can check that out on New River Network.
He's the man. He knows what he's doing.
He does know what he's doing. Yep. And we don't want you to leave this show, but you can go check it out and then come back to us. And then when we're done, you can go over and finish watching that game. But so we're doing 2 things tonight. So I don't know if we'll be there Saturday or not.
And then then you're doing the game tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely doing the game tomorrow against Woodrow. Big game, big rivalry game. And good to get back into that game, I think.
But going back to Saturday, I think we got have them come to the game and introduce them at the game, and then we're gonna have a dinner reception there at the Holiday Inn Saturday evening. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep, should be good.
Yeah, that should be good. Now they did that. Was that last year or year before last? They did that.
No. It was see, we couldn't do anything.
Right,
last
couldn't do
year.
it last year.
The last time we did something, that would have been basketball of 2019, maybe.
Okay. I was gonna say, I remember we had something.
I don't think we had 2020, or maybe it was during football of 2019. So the next class we alternate from doing a basketball game and then doing a football game next year. So pretty much this fall will be the next class as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll definitely have all the inductees. We'll have them. We'll name them on the show, whether we have them on here or not. But we'll name them. Maybe we can squeeze a few guests out. But we'll definitely talk about that a little bit next week after that's done. And hopefully, if we do show the game, we'll probably have that all broadcast as well. That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then next week, we play home Tuesday.
Yes.
And then we hit the road.
Yeah, we play East. It just seems like we're playing all these big games back to back.
But,
that's just how it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we had Princeton, Bluefield, East, Woodrow, Princeton, Bluefield, Woodrow, and East. Back to back to back to back. All big sectional games, and going to be a big week next week. Hopefully we'll get all of our players back and we can go full strength. And because, one of the things we've talked about all along, and I've talked to Coach Jackson about this, we've been competitive in every game except the GW game. And that was another one of those games where we just couldn't make any shots. But interesting game tonight, GW and Greater Beckley tipping off down on the hill down in GW. So that'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. That's number 2 team in 4A taking on the number 1 team in single A.
Yeah, here you go. I'm so focused on these next tomorrow night, but the Friday game next week away is at Princeton. So I mean, we just got all these games right back to back. Huge.
Yeah, big sectional games. We got to start winning some of them.
Yeah.
Like I said, hopefully we'll get healthy and start winning a few. Because I think we're as good as anybody in that section. We thought it was going to be a big struggle for us, but we've played pretty well and been competitive in all of them. And we can hang in there with any of them. I think I haven't seen anybody.
Yeah, like you said, other than G-Dub, I think we've been right there. We've been right there at it. You take the Hurricane game, we were right there. You take Princeton, we were right there. We were right there. And then Bluefield, and we had some adversity with Bluefield, like we were talking about, but we were right there, and we just didn't take it. Just didn't take it.
Just couldn't get it. So they've been right in the games. Just got to, like I said, got to start winning. But it's what I always said. These 22 games are practice. You just practice and try to get better. That's all you can do. So, all right, let's get us a quick break in here. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the games coming up this week and what we're going to be doing. Then we'll hear from Dr. Crist, who does our house calls with Dr. Crist. Also probably have a special audience caller calling in. We'll check on that as well. So I hope you'll stay with us here on Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist. That's Dave Gorby coming to you live from Pinheads on the Gorge tonight here on Jones Avenue in Oak Hill. Ladies' night out here. We always like ladies' night. Thursday night, that's worked out good for us. All right, get us a break in. We'll be back after these messages. Stay with us, everybody. Hello, folks. It's high school basketball time again. If you're as excited as Coach Pinheads Jackson, Coach Daryl Compton, and myself about the upcoming season, you'll be glad to know that you can tune in and watch all the games on the New River Network for Oak Hill High School basketball action this season. I'm Greg Crist, and I'll be bringing you all the action as the Red Devils get started on this 2021-2022 campaign. Coach Pinheads Jackson will again be leading the Red Devil men's team. Coach Daryl Compton will lead the girls team. And I know both guys are excited about this year's squads.
That's right, Greg. We're excited to get this campaign started. We're happy that the New River Network will be bringing Oak Hill High School basketball to the living rooms of alumni across the state and country, as well as to the people who can't make it out to the games.
I hope you'll join us on the New River Network as the Oak Hill Red Devils boys and girls basketball forge into action. You can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and Roku TV.
Welcome back to Courtside with Coach Crist, Greg Crist, along with Dave Gorby here at Pinheads on the Gorge. Jones Avenue in Oak Hill, we always enjoy coming. Ladies seem a little subdued tonight, yeah. Gord, I've noticed. I'm not sure what's...
They were festive around the holiday season.
Yeah. Maybe the Miller Lights haven't quite kicked in yet.
Yeah.
Not sure. I bet the scores are better tonight than what they normally are.
Let's see here.
We'll scope them out here in just a minute. We was talking about the games coming up this week. We got Woodrow tomorrow night in a big rivalry game. Talk about Woodrow a little bit. You guys, I'm sure, watch film. What kind of game you see tomorrow night?
Well, you know that they've kind of been hit with the bug or injury or whatever you want to call it. You know, obviously everybody knows about Redfern, and you know he's pretty good. He's going to be the guy that's going to have the ball pretty much all the time, you know. And then after that, you know, you have Maddox. You know that's the one kid that we know that can shoot. But you know, I don't think he's played in the past couple weeks or maybe a week and a half or something like that. I'm not but you know, you never know. You gotta be ready for that, and I think they had their big tight. I can't think of his name, but he was the tight end. Man,
yeah.
I'm telling you,
big boy.
Yeah, big boy. And you know, I'm not sure if he played. He played last week, but I don't think he played the other night against Huntington.
We struggle with that size a little bit too because we just don't have much size.
Well, you go back to the Princeton game, and they had 24 offensive rebounds.
Oh no, that kills you, right? I mean, that killed us all night. Gorb, looked like we got an audience caller here. Let's take this call and see who it is. Courtside with Coach Crist. Who am I speaking with?
Hey there, Coach Crist. This is Nick Satan here.
Hey, Nicky Satan, how you doing?
Doing okay, Coach. First-time caller.
First-time caller. Well, we got to get you some love. Anytime we got a first-time caller, got to have love. There you go. How's about that?
It'd have been okay if I could have heard it. But anyway, I just switched over to your show from NRN's coverage of the Oak Hill girls basketball game.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with your technology there.
Yeah, we're doing some innovative things here. Darren's got he's got this technology stuff down, so we're doing two things at once tonight. The only problem, it has some of our viewers confused. I got a text message from Dr. Crist, who is, you know, a PhD, and he can't figure out how to tune in. I told him to go and search Courtside with Coach Crist. He said, New River Network showing girls basketball. I'm like, yeah, you got to go to Courtside with Coach Crist there on YouTube or Facebook and tune in that way. Well, I'm looking and I can't find it. I'm like, okay, well, you're a doctor, so figure it out.
Well, you know, Coach, you can buy them books, but PhDs sometimes only read the covers.
Yes, they do. And
they don't have much common sense down there in Alabama.
No, they don't. Sometimes they eat the covers. Aren't you from down in that area as well?
Actually, Coach, I'm from Fairmont, West Virginia.
Oh, okay. That's right. I forgot up around the what was that high school?
Monongah
High School, yeah. Yeah,
Monongah. Right. Yep.
And I believe that Anstead defeated Monongah in a state championship about 1971. I don't know if you were on that team or not.
No, Coach. I was a little older than that. I played back in the late 50s, and we played that Anstead team. We'd beat the hell out of them. So that's all I can say.
I hear you, Nicky. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, Coach, first of all, just need to let you know that this time of year, I'm really busy as hell.
Right.
So I'm at my house waiting on 9 out of every 10 5-star recruits call me.
Right.
That's 90% for you geniuses out there, for you PhDs.
Right. For Dr. Crist.
And so they have to call me because I'm old school. I don't text a lot, but I'm waiting on them to call me and ask me to play football for the University of Alabama.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's the way to do it, I guess, if you can do it that way.
Well, Coach, I tell you, it hasn't been that hard. Recruiting hasn't been really that much, really difficult since that Driftwood Stump played here some time ago. He was something else, and now there's recruits. They just keep running and running in here.
Yeah. He was quite the runner, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yep. Anything
else?
Coach,
what do you want now, Coach?
I just you called me, so I don't know for sure what I want.
Well, I was going to tell you, but and I will start again, and before you interrupt me again, and I just how much I like the media anyway, so don't ask me a bunch of dumbass questions. All right. And I won't get pissed off and show myself in front of your fine studio audience and the millions of listeners worldwide that your show has.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. I'm not going to ask you anything.
Well, good. I like it better that way because, the media, you're like a bunch of PhD people. You don't have much sense.
Right.
So about the other night, really don't want to go there. I know you want to ask about this national championship game. But, I had people hurt. I lose my guy to a freak injury. 1 and 1 is 2, etc. But, Coach, at the end of the day, I don't care because I still get my $9.3 million.
Right.
Besides, everybody knows, including you, that if you beat the Georgia Bulldogs, you're going to feel a bulldog bite.
Yes. Yeah.
And you wouldn't want to do that.
That is true. The Bulldogs did bite you. They thought you had the game under control at halftime there, and I kind of slipped off the bed and woke up to a shocker the next morning. I was surprised.
Well, your version of shocker and my version of shocker, Coach, are two different things. But when it all boils down to it, and you guys, Coach, do you know this? At the end of the day, it's the damn kid's fault.
That's right.
It's not the coach's fault.
That's right.
Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
That's right. So, I am catching some flack because you can imagine, not winning number 8, I guess, lays hard on some people. But, like I said, when it boils down to it, it's the damn kid's fault. You can't go out there, tell them what to do. They throw dumb passes. They twist their legs. They miss tackles. They just miss assignments. And you can't go out there and do it for them, Coach. Or I'd do it.
Right.
But anyway, at the end of the day, Coach, I mean, mediocre people hate high achievers, and high achievers hate mediocre people.
Right.
Ain't that right, Gorby? I mean, come on, man. So that leads me to this, Coach. Mediocre people.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I'm not going to pick on Gorby anymore. People calling here and giving him a hard time. But, let me go back to mediocre people.
Right.
So let's talk about that dang Antonio Brown now.
Yeah.
Back in my day, Coach, back up there in Monongah, up in Fairmont, West Virginia, we'd have just took him out back and beat the hell out of him.
Right.
But with all this PC crap nowadays, you can't do that.
No,
so
you can't.
Anyway, do me a favor.
All right.
Ask that Dr. Crist fella if he ever figures out how to call into your show.
All right.
I mean, he is a graduate from that old Crimson Tide. But I want to know what he thinks about people who act like Antonio Brown. What the hell is the matter with him? I mean, you know what? I don't get my way. I didn't win my 8th championship, but I just take my $9.3 million and I go home and enjoy my life.
Right.
Why can't he do the same?
Right. Yeah, he had a total meltdown there, didn't he?
Oh, I mean, another one. another one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, it's like Groundhog Day with him, and I don't get it. But anyway, all right. By the way, when you go get some real coaches on your show, like in Music Brothers, just ask.
Well, we're gonna get them. It's just a matter of time. We got.
Well, I mean, you're losing audience fan base because of it. So
well, we do our guest list, a few weeks out in advance, and sometimes you just got to work it around the calendar, and I'll work on them and get them on there for sure.
Okay, Coach. Well, not so nice talking to you, and I'm gonna have to go. I got this 1-star recruit at my house doing some chores. Come on, Posey, get that garbage. Hold those towels, Posey. Wash my boxers, Posey. Let's go now.
All right, Nikki. Well, we appreciate you calling in, and we'll definitely get your question over to Dr. Crist there about Antonio Brown's behavior. Keep at it on the recruiting trail. We look to see you back in that national championship game again next year.
Yeah, I'm about as bored with being there as everybody is bored with seeing me there, Coach. But I have no doubt we'll be back again.
Well, you got 9 million reasons. Keep working at it.
Yeah, we keep losing all these 4-stars in the transfer portal, and I just say, hell, you can't beat a 5-star out and play. Go somewhere else. I don't care. I got 5 more to replace.
That's right. All right, Nikki, we appreciate you calling in. We'll talk to you soon.
Coach, we'll talk to you later. Hey, Posey, get your ass up here.
All right, so it was Nikki Satan calling in, a little edgy tonight. I guess that national championship game got him on the bad side of the bed, I guess.
I thought he said it didn't bother him.
He said it didn't, but he was awful crabby.
I think so.
I thought so. I thought he was awful worked up. So, all right. Well, we'll get his question on to Dr. Crist here after we come back from break. We'll have Dr. Crist on. We are going to talk a little bit about that outburst by Antonio Brown the other night. I think all of us have seen that by now. Weird stuff.
You just... It's Antonio Brown, and
yeah, it ain't the first time.
It ain't the first time. It ain't the second time, and I watched it, and then I just really didn't pay much attention to it after that.
Yeah, you just grow numb to it after a while. You know he's going to do something, so you just it's kind of like watching Dennis Rodman. You knew something was coming. You just almost dreaded watching it because you knew it was going to happen eventually. All right, let's get us a break in. When we come back, we'll have our house call with Dr. Crist segment. Dr. Crist will be talking a little bit about this outburst by Antonio Brown. What's it mean? How, where's that kind of stuff come from these guys? I mean, obviously he's, multi-millionaire. He's got life by the horns and got it made, basically. And yet blows up and leaves $1 million laying on the table by doing it. And doesn't seem to faze him. That would faze me. So let us get a break in here. When we come back, we'll get Dr. Crist on the line and talk to him a little bit about Nikki Satan's call and see what he's got up and talk a little bit about A.B. Brown. So stay with us. You're watching Courtside with Coach Crist. And we're at Pinheads on the Gorge of the Gorge here on Ladies' Night at the Bowling Alley. Dave Gorby and Greg Crist will be back after these messages. Welcome back to Courtside with Coach Crist, Greg Crist, Dave Gorby here at Pinheads of the Gorge, Jones Avenue in Oak Hill. And we are joined now, our segment on the show called House Call with Dr. Crist. We're joined by Dr. Crist from down there, and as Nikki Satan called it, Alabama or whatever it was he was saying. But he welcome to the show, and Nikki Satan wanted to talk about A.B. Brown. He's trying to figure out why a player like him is acting like he is, and what causes those type of outbursts in people. And me and Gorby were talking about it. I know he has plenty of money anyway, but I think that ended up costing him over $1 million because of incentives and things like that, plus his contract as well. And it doesn't seem to faze him. It's just like, yeah, well, whatever. They shouldn't have done that. And to people like us, we see it as kind of bizarre behavior. So
yeah,
and he probably gets a bonus if his team makes it to the.
Oh, I'm sure there was bonus incentives for playoffs and games won and all that. And he had a lot of incentives for yards. He was close to
yards,
receptions. He was real close to all that, and they think he would have probably got it in that game or the next one. And surely by the time the playoffs were over, he would have got all those incentives. And they said it was like $1.5 million that the bonuses was. So he gave all that up. But anyway, we'll let you talk about that.
Okay. Well, so I didn't actually see it, but I have read about it, read what happened. And apparently, from what I understand, is the coach asked him to go into the game, and he said, no, I'm not going to go into the game. And then the next thing that they knew, he was taking off his pads and his shirt and waving to the fans and walking toward the sidelines and literally, walked off from the team. And again, that does sound, kind of bizarre. We've talked before about why people do the things that they do.
Right.
And we talked about fan behavior and specifically, but, usually it really boils down to two things. It's either something internal, something about that person, or it has something to do with the situation. And so whenever you encounter that, the person who is, either in trouble or the people who are trying to support the person in trouble, they always point to the situation as causing it. So it's not that guy.
Right.
He's not a bad guy. All right.
Right.
Here's what was going on. And so when Antonio Brown was asked about it later, what did he say? Wasn't me.
Yeah.
He said, I had an injury. They injected me with something that the Players Association said we shouldn't have injected in us. And they asked me to go back in the game when they knew I had an injury. And so it's all the team and all the coaches and the medical people. And, of course, the coach says, I have no idea what he's talking about. Nobody said anything about an injury to me, right?
Yeah.
And so you're asked that, you get to that question. Is it that situation, or is it something about Antonio Brown? Well, the real telling thing there is this isn't the first time.
Right.
Right? This has happened before. It's happened with other coaches. It's happened with other teams. And it's kind of the same scenario plays out over and over again. One of my good friends is fond of saying, wherever you go, there you are. So wherever Antonio Brown goes, there he is.
Yeah.
And he can't run away from himself. And after a while, you got to seriously ask the question, if the same things keep happening to you, maybe you're the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where people are coming down to this. Now there will be a team out there, almost invariably, there'll be a team out there that says, we can handle that. He's such a good player, and they'll excuse him, and they'll point to situational things, and they'll bring him on, and they'll offer him lots of money, and they'll pay him incentives, and he'll say, see, I told you so. And then the same thing will happen again and again. So I think it's becoming pretty clear that this has more to do with Antonio Brown than the situation.
Right.
So what would that be? Golly. It could be any number of things. I suspect that it's more of a personality issue. For some reason, wide receivers tend to be, kind of drama queens.
Right. Yeah.
And they're kind of narcissistic, so he comes across as a little narcissistic. an exaggerated sense of who he is, an exaggerated sense of self-importance, and everybody's always out to get me. Sound familiar? Sound like anybody else you know?
Yeah.
And so, that I suspect is probably what's going on. And what happens, what is really interesting about people like that underlying that kind of bravado and that kind of look kind of stuff is really what's underlying that is a deep sense of insecurity.
Yeah.
That if people find out that I'm really not that good, I'm not that person, I'm not talented, whatever it is that they're afraid of that people are going to find out. And they actively kind of keep people at bay, to keep people at a distance so nobody ever gets really too close to find out that really on the inside, I'm kind of a crappy person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I suspect there's a little bit of that going on with Antonio Brown. And so part of him probably also knows that somebody's going to offer him money.
Oh, yeah.
He's got agents. And so, okay, so I lose money here. I'll get it from the next guy.
Yeah.
And he kind of justifies his behavior that way. But Antonio Brown will continue to blame the Bucs and their coaches and their medical staff.
Yeah.
Because he won't be able to take responsibility for himself.
Yeah, and somebody I think needs to say to him, listen, we understand maybe you were hurt. Maybe you shouldn't have gone back in the game. The coaches maybe shouldn't have asked you to go back in the game. But really, was that the right response? I mean, if you didn't want to go back in the game, fine to say, I'm not going back in the game, go over and sit down. I mean, they're not going to grab you and throw you out there. I mean, don't strip down and run off the field while the game's still going on. Somebody needs to say that to him. And maybe you overreacted just a little.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, but like you said, somebody will pay him money because he's a good player. So they're going to play. And, the guys like that, it never fails. Like you said, it's going to happen again. And it's just like Odell Beckham Jr., He goes and he tries his best to behave himself, but he just can't do it. When he gets unhappy, he starts blaming everybody else. So they ends up becoming a cancer, and they got to get rid of him.
And he's making a good run right now.
Right
now.
Right. Yeah, he'll be fine now. But get into next year and they start losing a few games or he don't get touches.
Robert Woods will be back.
Right, Robert Woods will be back, so he won't get the ball. And, it'll start again there in Los Angeles, So, those guys, a lot of them are like that. But I think Antonio Brown's just a little more over the top than most of them.
Probably so. There's probably – I mean, there could be other things going on, obviously, with him. But I think I think the overreaction, again, you think about it, it's that that exaggerated sense of self-importance.
Yeah.
It's the, how could you treat me this way?
Right.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
I mean, and so that sort of over-the-top, exaggerated reaction is kind of what you get.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what you get with a situation like that. And you're right. He can't. Because it is his personality, because it's a part of him, he can't just control that. He can't just, he might be able to keep it under wraps for a short period of time, but eventually it's going to surface again.
It's going to come out. I would think from a psychologist standpoint, that would have to be, you have to be like, man, I'd like to get in there and have that session for about 6 months. Do psychologists think that way?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think some of us think, God, I wouldn't want to deal with that guy.
That's what I was going to say. I wouldn't want to fool with him. Of course, he does have lots of money, so you can probably double your rate, He would,
there you go.
There
you go. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I have a good friend in Birmingham who went to the University of Alabama, and his roommate at Alabama, and good friend of his, is Mike Riley.
Oh, okay.
Mike Riley was the head coach of the San Diego Chargers when they drafted Ryan Leaf.
Right.
And I was talking to the guy one day, and he said, man, I need to call Mike and tell him he needs to hire you, man. He needs to hire you to come out there and work with that team. They got some problems, some issues. And this is before anybody knew all this about Ryan Leaf. I went, oh, Oh my God, I can imagine getting caught up in that of egoism.
That'd be tough because no matter how much is like a lot of people today, no matter how much evidence you showed him, he's still not going to buy into it.
He's not going to buy into it. That's ego is too easily bruised.
Yep. All right, man. Appreciate it as always. We're running a little short on time, so we'll get off here. Hopefully, you can get the show tuned in after it's over. You can go back and rewatch it. So, because they're all archived. So, and Nicky Satan feels confident. He said that you could figure it out. He said you buy these PhD's books, and sometimes all they do is gnaw around on the cover. So, we think you probably be better than that. So, go back and tune it in later on. Appreciate you as always. Interesting stuff.
All right. Take care.
All right, and love you. Bye.
Love you.
All right, Dr. Chris, a pretty good segment there on Antonio Brown. I think we all recognize that there's some serious issues going on with that cat. He got some problems, man. Something ain't right. But I always wondered about these psychologists. They look at a guy like that and say, man, I'd like to get that guy on the couch for 6 months or so and just really work this out. Or you'd be like him and say, I don't want nothing to do with that cat. He's crazy. All right, that's pretty funny. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get local small town hero Jack Flournoy on the phone with us. Talk to Jack a little bit about his time here in Oak Hill, and we look forward to that. So we'll take a quick break. I'll get him on the phone, then we'll come right back and wrap up the last segment of the show. We hope you'll stay with us here on Courtside with Coach Chris, Greg Crist, Dave Gorby. We'll be back after these messages. Hello, folks. It's high school basketball time again. If you're as excited as Coach Benitez Jackson, Coach Daryl Compton, and myself about the upcoming season, you'll be glad to know that you can tune in and watch all the games on the New River Network for Oak Hill High School basketball action this season. I'm Greg Crist, and I'll be bringing you all the action as the Red Devils get started on this 2021-2022 campaign. Coach Benitez Jackson will again be leading the Red Devil men's team. Coach Daryl Compton will lead the girls team. And I know both guys are excited about this year's squads.
That's right, Greg. We're excited to get this campaign started. We're happy that the New River Network will be bringing Oak Hill High School basketball to the living rooms of alumni across the state and country, as well as to the people who can't make it out to the games.
I hope you'll join us on the New River Network as the Oak Hill Red Devils boys and girls basketball forge into action. You can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and Roku TV.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist, along with Dave Gorby. We are at Pinheads on the Gorge here in Oak Hill on Jones Avenue. We got the ladies' night. They're wrapping things up. And Gorb, I don't think the Miller Lite kicked in on all of them.
Like
just a handful of them.
It was like a soft open.
Yeah, it's like a church service.
Yeah,
usually
they're already packed up.
Yeah, usually it's rocking and rolling in here, man. They've I guess the holidays wore them down. I don't know. We'll have to check on them.
The funds are tight.
That's right.
Month.
Yeah, they can't buy as much brew.
Yeah.
All right. we promised you one of our local heroes here on the phone, and guy I've known since he's a little tiny. Well, I've known him since he was a baby, since he was born. And matter of fact, I got a good story about conception I'll tell someday, not on the air though. But anyway, we are joined by Jack Flournoy, and of course everyone knows from around here, Jack played here at Oak Hill, won a state championship here, and went on and played at Northern Kentucky. His dad was a longtime coach here at Midland Trail and over at Princeton. And Jack, we appreciate you taking a little bit of time to join us tonight.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, we were talking about, people around here like to catch up with people and see where they're at and what they're doing these days. And, of course, you weren't actually from Oak Hill, but you went to school here at Oak Hill. I never could figure out why you didn't come over to Midland Trail and play for me, but that's another topic for another day. But
do I need to butt in on that too?
Yeah. He also lived in Mount Hope, so we all got our gripes. But anyway, we don't blame you for what you did. But anyway, just tell the audience again. I know a lot of people around here were texting me about you being on tonight, wanting to know what you're going to do. I'm like, got to watch the show and listen, find out what he's doing. So tell us a little bit where you're at right now in your life.
So I actually just got married last summer to my wife, Caitlin, who also played basketball at Northern Kentucky, living in Cincinnati now. And I'm working as a foreman for a company called Quality Mechanicals. We do like industrial piping.
Oh, okay.
So all kinds of, anything as small as like a brewery up to as big as like a marathon biorefinery. We go in and do all the pipe installation for that. So, other than that, it's pretty much kind of where I'm at with life, doing regular old married man life stuff.
Yeah, and that happens, and happened to all of us. And that's the way it goes. You have any aspirations of coaching any?
I've considered maybe whenever I have kids to get involved in some youth sports.
Right.
I don't think I have many aspirations in doing anything above that, any middle school, high school, college. I think just maybe mess around with the kids coaching one day would be ideal for me.
Yep, I think that would be very enjoyable, and I wouldn't blame you one bit for sticking to that route. I think that's a great idea. I've tried to tell my son that, and others as well. It's not an easy thing to do, and of course, your dad did it forever, and I did it forever, and it can be pretty tough. I mean, there's enjoyable parts to it, but there's a lot of tough stuff to it too. And I never wanted to see my kid go through it, to be honest with you. So I understand that perfectly. You I mentioned in the intro there that you guys won a championship here at Oak Hill. Talk a little bit about that. What that experience was like for you here at Oak Hill. I know it was a fun time for all of us.
Oh yeah, that year was honestly one of the best years of basketball I ever had. That's a year that I look back on all the time, I got years and years worth of basketball stories, but that year in particular is probably my most fond memories. Obviously winning the state championship is a pretty special time, but I mean, I'm sitting here in this back room still looking at a picture with all these guys that were on that team, Caleb, DeAndre, Noah, even Thomas Booth. I mean, there were some awesome guys on that team, and just being with those guys and getting to enjoy that with all them was pretty awesome. Yeah. And then our coaching staff was awesome that year too. I mean, we had Coach Ferry, Coach Epp, Coach Jackson, Coach Blankenship helped out that year as well.
Yep.
So I mean, we had a really good group of coaches and a really good group of players that it made it fun all year long.
Yep. I know we enjoyed watching it. It was a lot of fun down at state tournament, and it was pretty awesome. And I know a lot of people were thrilled. Not only people from Oak Hill, but probably all of Fayette County, I'm gonna guess, was tickled to see that, because I know we were all excited. After you left high school, you went to where you had some offers from some different places. You had some injury problems. You ended up going to Northern Kentucky right about the time they were.
They went D1.
Yeah, they were moving up to D1, and you were there when that all started. Played a couple years at Northern Kentucky. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, so my first year was actually the transition year. So my freshman year is the year we went Division I.
Right.
We were playing in the Atlantic Sun, and we were playing teams. Actually, we got to play Florida Gulf Coast, who everybody remembers had that fun run in the NCAA tournament there. And they actually had a West Virginia guy on that team, Chase Feeler, if people remember him from Parkersburg.
Yeah, yep, sure did.
Yeah, he was an awesome player.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, Northern Kentucky was a place that when I visited, it felt right. And at the time, they had a coach that I had known for a while, Darius Nichols.
Yeah. Yep.
He was a grad assistant at West Virginia when they were recruiting me before I kind of had my spell of injuries there.
Yeah.
And so after he left WVU as a grad assistant, he got on as an assistant coach at NKU. And that was kind of my connection there and the reason that they started recruiting me in the first place. And, you know, after the injuries and such, I just wasn't as fast, wasn't as explosive, you know, just things of that nature. So NKU was the level that felt right and felt like I could go there and compete and be my best at that time.
Right. Well, I just remember first time we got to watch on TV, you were playing Kentucky, I believe it was. We got to see the game there. You actually played pretty well. I remember that. I remember us sitting down and watching that. You were on, I think, on ESPN that night. So, yeah, big job.
Yeah, Kentucky was cool to play. Freaking, I had to guard Julius Randle. That wasn't any fun. That guy's freaking, oh, man, he was a load.
I guarantee you. And I think I was looking at some of your games when you were there, the teams you played, and I think I saw in there y'all played at North Carolina, I believe. Maybe.
Yeah, we played North Carolina. I'm trying to think. We played Purdue. That was another pretty big team we got to play.
You had a good game in that one against Purdue, if I remember reading it correctly.
Purdue was probably one of the better games I shot. I think I only took 4 threes, but I made them. So that was just shoot 4, make 4, don't shoot anymore.
There you go. Good time to stop, huh?
That's right.
All right, we know too. I wanted to ask you a question. Of course, we all knew your dad, and your dad and I were best of friends. We coached together for quite a while, and just became very close. What influence do you think? I mean, you know, obviously, you know, you and Sid both were at practices from the time you were able to walk, and you know, you come up, you know, going to practices constantly. Y'all about the same age. What influence do you think that your dad had on you as far as, you know, your basketball career and your ability to play and all that sort of thing?
Oh, I mean, I could contribute, I'd say, at least about 97% of that to him.
Yeah.
I mean, we started from day one. I started on little. I remember I had like a 6-foot Chicago Bulls hoop that we used to play one-on-one on outside on the side porch, and then it moved to like a 7-foot rim in my bedroom, and I never stopped. And then I'd have Dad trying to play one-on-one with me every day in the driveway. Come on, Dad, let's play. And then eventually got to the point he didn't want to play me anymore.
Yeah.
He started kicking it out there towards the end.
Yeah, because you could beat him, man.
Yeah, exactly. I started beating him. He didn't want to play anymore. He only wanted to play horse.
Yeah, yeah. I can believe that.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of fun working with him, and I know he was a basketball guy, man. He loved that basketball. Golly, he was 24/7 basketball. You know?
It was.
Yep.
It was.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's part of the reason too. I mean, I always love and appreciate everything that he did, but I think that's also part of the reason that I think I didn't really see a huge interest in coaching for me, just because I know to be a good coach and somebody that your players trust and love and respect, that it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort.
Yep.
And I didn't want that. I loved it for myself as a kid because I got to grow up around guys like yourself, and then meeting all the guys that Dad used to coach.
Yep.
And then, I mean, that was awesome for me as a kid, but man, it was a lot of time, and I'm sure it was tough on Mom as well, and Jody.
Oh yeah. And that's one of the things a lot of people don't recognize is that, you know, you pretty much you give up your own family more or less, you know, and take on that basketball family, because if you do it like Jack said, you do it right, you put the time in. And, I look back at my time, especially at Midland Trail, during the summer camps, the summer league, going to clinics, doing all those type of things, and then running the youth league. And, of course, we ran the John Flournoy Memorial Tournament up there for several years until I left. I think they kind of let that slip away, but I'm not sure why, but they did. And so just so many things that you got to do, and your own family kind of gets neglected, And I always said, behind every good coach is a good coach's wife, because you couldn't do it unless they tolerated you doing it, And you just give up so much family time and, time to do things with your own kids, your own family, and it makes it hard. But if you're going to do it right, that's part of the sacrifice. I mean, you've got to, you got to sacrifice a little bit of that to dedicate the time that really needs to be dedicated to it. So, and your dad was that man. He did it. And I think your mom, of course, she was quite the athlete herself and knew basketball very well. So a little easier transition for her than it was Jody, because Jody don't know squat about basketball. Still don't. She used to say when Sydney was playing, she'd say, I didn't know what was going on. So when all of our fans started clapping, she said, I started clapping too. She said, I act like I knew what was happening. So,
That's awesome.
She hates sports. So anyway, All right, Jack, we got one more thing to do here before we run out of time. Every guest that we've had on, and we've had Warren Baker, we've had Joe Alexander, we've had Quincy Wilson, we've had tons of we had Larry Barnett. He's an umpire. You have to look him up. We've had some great guests on here, some well-known folks, and we've done this segment with them on every show. We have a little segment we call Shoot the Three. And what we do in the Shoot the Three segment is we have 3 questions that are totally unrelated to anything we've been talking about. 3 rapid-fire questions, and you have 30 seconds to answer these. You got 10 seconds apiece on them. My co-host here, Dave Gorby, big guy, he comes and wrestles you up if you don't answer the questions on time. He delivers the punishment. So if you're ready to go, we got to Shoot the 3 questions ready for you.
All right, I'll do my best.
All right, here we go. First question. If they were making a movie about your life, who would play Jack Flournoy in that movie?
Oh, man. I don't know. Does Larry Bird count as a actor? He acted in Space Jam, didn't he?
Yeah, I'd say he was probably in Space Jam, yeah.
He was in Blue Chips.
He was in Blue Chips, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was in Blue Chips, too. I'm going Larry Bird.
All right, Larry Bird, that's a good one. My all-time fave, by the way. All right, if you had to lose a body part, which body part would you sacrifice?
Oh, man, I guess like my pinky toe.
That's a good answer. Yeah, good answer. You would be surprised at the answers we've gotten on that question. We expect pinky toe or pinky finger, but we've had stomach, we've had left foot, we've had right foot, we've had legs.
Oh, man.
Come on, people.
I don't need to lose that much. I need it all. I think.
Yeah, I think Jack, what was his name? Holt played at Duke and was the
the Woodrow guy.
Yeah,
the leading scorer in Woodrow.
Yeah,
he's an older guy.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. But he, we need to remember his name. Anyway, he said earlobe. I think that was probably one of the better answers. We had earlobe.
Lonnie was the one that said stomach.
Yeah. Lonnie Warwick said he'd lose his stomach.
I'm like, man, Lonnie, I like to.
It'd be kind of hard to function without that.
True.
All right, last question. If your friends saw you being put in handcuffs and being placed in a police car, what would your friends say you had done?
Oh, man. Probably got in a fight.
Okay. I was going to say, your mom's probably not watching you. I've got no bar fight. All right. Well, that's a good, honest answer anyway. All right, Jack, we're going to let you go. We appreciate you doing this for us. We're out of time. As always, we love you. We miss you around these parts. You need to get in here and visit us. And you take care of yourself and your new wife.
I will. Appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, Jack. Great talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, y'all have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that's Jack Flournoy, of course, and Jack played state championship game here in Oak Hill, won it all. Went on Northern Kentucky. I'll tell you what, Gorb, that boy could play.
Yeah.
And it's too bad that, the injuries got him. He had some knee injuries, and finally, I know he told Sid at Northern Kentucky, he said, I just can't do it anymore. He said, just rehabbing this stuff nonstop. He said, because he just kept getting hurt, And, man, what a player. He could shoot it. He could jump. He was just a great player, and about 6'5", 6'6", and just a baller. And really too bad. Too bad that the injuries got him like that, because I think he could have had a stellar career up there. I mean, he played pretty good the 2 years he played. He just had so many injuries, he just couldn't keep it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, nice talking to old Jack. I always liked him.
Yeah.
Funniest story ever. Him and Sydney basically grew up together. They spent their childhood together. And we always had him at our house. And we'd taken him to Pizza Hut one night. And we got ready to order, and they were like 7 years old. And Jack had the funniest drawl, the way he talked. Had that little, like a southern drawl almost. And the waitress come over and says, "What y'all like to have to drink?" And I said, "Yeah, give me a Pepsi." My wife got some tea. Sammy, he ordered water or whatever. Jack said, "I believe I'll have a Bud Light." Like, he was 7 years old. We're like, "Get out of here, man. You have no Bud Light." But he was just funny like that. Yeah. Just a little guy. Great sense of humor. And I loved his dad, him and his dad, my dad, his dad and me. We're really good friends, and really miss Big John too. So it's fun to talk to Jack. We enjoyed that. We're out of time for another night here on Courtside.
As usual.
Time flies when you're having fun, don't it? Yep. We appreciate all of our guests. Nikki Satan being on with us tonight, Dr. Crist, and of course Jack Flournoy joining us from there in Cincinnati. It's nice to talk to Jack, and we'll try to do more of that, get some of these local guys involved in the show. That's a lot of fun. So we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. You can go on over to the New River Network now and watch the girls' basketball game. I think, I don't know what the score is now, but
Winfield's shooting a free throw. Let's see here. I know the score, but there's...
He's going to wait on a foul shot.
Yeah, there it goes. She missed. It's Winfield's up 37-22 at halftime.
37-22 at halftime. Pretty good ball game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tune into that on the New River Network, doing fun things here, doing the show, and that at the same time. So we appreciate Darren for doing all that stuff. Again, thank you for watching the show tonight. We appreciate it. We will be at the Lilly Center tomorrow night for Oak Hill Woodrow basketball. We hope you'll join us for that. I'm sure you will. And all the great commentary that you're going to get. I think Blank's going to help me tomorrow night. So we'll be in full strength tomorrow night, man. Yeah. I did the one another night by myself, man. That's hard to do.
So how is compared football to basketball? How's Blank's?
Well, first of all,
is it analysis like football or what?
His football analysis was top notch. I mean, he watched film and everything. Man, he knew it was great. And I thought, he's going to struggle with basketball because he's not, he probably really don't like basketball all that well and everything. Yeah. He was awesome, man. He stepped right in, and he had done a little research and caught me off guard because I didn't do any. And he did a good job. He does a heck of a job.
Did he ever tell stories about how I got onto him when he was the head JV guy and I was his assistant?
He never told me that.
Oh, I always had to
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He did mention the fact, though, that if you didn't start winning some games, he was going to head up the firing committee and get you run out of town.
He can come help if he wants to.
That's right. Don't be critical. Get in there and help. I used to say over at Midland Trail when I was doing bad, and somebody'd say something like that, I would say, "What are they going to do? Make me sign a 5-year contract and keep me here against my will?" You kidding me? They can't go fire me. They can't get nobody else to do this mess. So anyway, all right, that's going to do it for tonight. We appreciate you again joining us here on Courtside with Coach Chris. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night as the Oak Hill Red Devils take on the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles from the Lilly Center. Game time, I think, is 7 o'clock. So we'll be there on the air about 6:45, getting you ready for all the action, man. Looking forward to it, Gordon. We want to win. All right, good night, everybody. Have a great weekend. Hello, folks. It's high school basketball time again. If you're as excited as Coach Benitez Jackson, Coach Darrell Compton, and myself about the upcoming season, you'll be glad to know that you can tune in and watch all the games on the New River Network for Oak Hill High School basketball action this season. I'm Greg Crist, and I'll be bringing you all the action as the Red Devils get started on this 2021-2022 campaign.
Coach Benitez Jackson will again be leading the Red Devil men's team. Coach Darryl Compton will lead the girls team. And I know both guys are excited about this year's squads.
That's right, Greg. We're excited to get this campaign started. We're happy that the New River Network will be bringing Oak Hill High School basketball to the living rooms of alumni across the state and country, as well as to the people who can't make it out to the games.
I hope you'll join us on the New River Network as the Oak Hill Red Devils boys and girls basketball forge into action. You can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and Roku TV.